Welcome to our ship tour of the Carnival Celebration. We are going to start on Deck 6 at the front of the ship, and the first venue we'll take a look at is the Punchliner Comedy Club. Now, if you've ever been on another Carnival ship, you know the Punchliner is one of the most popular places on board. Often the shows here are standing room only. It is one of the favorite shows of a lot of Carnival guests. And the nice thing is that on the Celebration there are actually two comedy clubs, the Punchliner and the Limelight Lounge, which we'll get to in a little bit. So the Punchliner is where they held more of the adult shows, so the environment was a little bit more raucous, the jokes were a little bit more edgy. Really a good time was to be had by all for sure, but maybe not somewhere you want to bring your kids. The Limelight did have some family-friendly comedy shows, so head over there if you are on board with kids. So as we exit the Punchliner Comedy Club, you can see there is a nice mural of the Carnival Celebration. The Celebration was built in 2022, which was the 50th anniversary of Carnival Cruise Line's founding. It is the second of 3 Excel-class ships. All around the ship, you can find all sorts of references to the history of Carnival, which is really fun. I'll point all of those things out as we go along. Next up, we're going to come to the Piano Bar 88. And you can find this venue on a lot of Carnival ships. It has this cool blue theme, and there's a round bar that goes around the piano, reminiscent of piano keys. Really cool place. You can come here for live music almost every single evening. Now, as we go down this hallway, we're going to enter into Celebration Central. So this is the atrium on board the Carnival Celebration. It covers 3 decks, 6, 7, and 8. So we're on the lower deck of the atrium. Right here is the JavaBlue Cafe. So if you are a coffee fanatic, this is where you're going to want to come every morning. Watch out though, because the lines can get pretty long at that peak time between like 8 and 9:30. Now, a lot of people might not realize that you can actually get food here too. So these sandwiches that you see, I know there's not many left because we are filming this at kind of an odd time. I think it was about 4:30 in the afternoon. But most of the time there are some pastries or sandwiches there that are complimentary. And then there's the donuts and the giant slices of cake, and those do cost extra. We did come here quite a few times to get something to eat, and it was all delicious, both the complimentary food and the stuff that you had to pay extra for. We had a piece of cheesecake while we were on board, and it was so good, so I definitely recommend it if you want to indulge in something a little bit nicer. On the other side, this is where you order your drinks, so you can get coffee, you can get tea, you can get lattes, you can also get milkshakes. Now, all of those that I just mentioned, those are included in the Cheers package. If you have the bottomless bubbles, you can get cans of soda here, but of course the coffee and the milkshakes aren't included in bottomless bubbles, just in the Cheers package. We do have a video that is all about the Cheers and the bottomless bubbles package, so if you are interested about adding that on for your cruise, definitely check out the link in the description. You're going to want to watch that video. Coming around the corner here, this is Cherry on Top. Of course, this is a really popular store full of candy of all sorts. You can buy stuff that's pre-packaged, or you can go for the mix and match bins here on the side. That's kind of my favorite. I like to grab a little bit of everything. You can also get fresh flowers here. You might have seen the roses in the cooler back there. And you can get stuffed animals. So if you want a little something special, a gift for someone, come out down here, pick out a stuffed animal, a bag of candy. You can't go wrong. Now right here, this is the first piece of memorabilia that we're going to see on the tour. This is a 1934 Rolls Royce, and this was on the Carnival Ecstasy, which was retired in October 2022, so it was retired the same year that the Carnival Celebration was built. Pretty big operation there to save that key piece of memorabilia. I know a lot of longtime cruisers on Carnival probably remember taking a picture in front of that Rolls Royce. Were you one of those people? Leave a comment below if you've had a picture in front of that car. Now, this is the center stage area. There are a lot of really cool and elaborate shows that they put on. The big one for the Carnival Celebration is the Most Magnificent Circus. That one had trapeze acts and magic, sleight of hand, and a lot of singing and dancing, of course. They also had celestial strings, which we've seen on the Mardi Gras as well. And then during the day, they had bingo here, they had a towel folding demonstration, so this area got used quite a bit. Now in the back here, you can see the Tropic Hall Bar. And here's another reference to some older Carnival ships. The Carnival Tropical was the first ship to have that iconic whale tail funnel. It's a nice bar, it's well positioned, but there are some guardrails here just to keep people from falling off the side, obviously, but that makes it a little bit hard to get into the bar when a show is going on. I'd recommend make sure you get a drink beforehand, or else go to the Golden Jubilee bar, which is really close by. We're gonna head there next. So if the show is already going on and it's really crowded in there, there are other places that you can grab a drink. It was formal night, just getting started formal night, and so as we go through this area, you're going to see a lot of folks dressed up super nice, getting their picture taken, some family photos, some group photos. Really fun to see all of the different outfits that people wear. There's some really, really cool ones coming up that I absolutely loved, so just get ready for that. This is the Golden Jubilee, so it's got kind of a vintage theme. Those sketches that you can see around the top were actually done by Joe Farkas, the famous Carnival cruise ship designer. We fell in love with his designs when we first sailed on the Carnival Conquest. Such an unbelievable over-the-top decor on that ship. I still love it, still one of my favorite ships. It's nice to see they're bringing back some of those touches. You know, he's not involved in the design anymore, but they're still bringing back some of those touches of the decor and the over-the-top ornateness that he had on some of those original Carnival ships. So that's really cool to see. Now, you might recognize the name Jubilee because there is now another ship called the Carnival Jubilee. A Jubilee, actually a Golden Jubilee, refers to the 50th anniversary. And so the Carnival Celebration was built for the 50th anniversary of Carnival, and it is one of 3 Excel-class ships. The Mardi Gras was actually named after the very first ship in the Carnival fleet, way back in 1972. And then the third ship, the Jubilee, of course, that refers to the 50th anniversary. So really cool the way they decide to name these cruise ships. I get a kick out of it every time. Right outside the Golden Jubilee, they have this model of the Carnival Celebration, and it was so realistic, so lifelike. You see that they have the lifeboats there. They've got, in the back here at the summer landing area, they have even little loungers and the sunshades that go over the loungers. It was so detailed. On the side, they have these dioramas. You can look through this porthole and see these dioramas of the different decades of Carnival. So here are the 2010s. That's the decade they introduced the Red Frog Rum Bar and Guy's Burgers. Just really classic looks back at the history of Carnival. So neat to see. We just quickly passed this antique thing sitting here. You're probably wondering, what is that? You can tell it's something from a cruise ship. Well, this is an original engine telegraph, and that is what the pilot would use on the bridge to communicate with the engineers. That telegraph is from the TSS Carnival, and that was the second ship in the original Carnival fleet. You can see here is a model of that ship, right, as we go into the Carnival restaurant. So another little piece of memorabilia. Like I said, they're all over the ship. So fun to see. So this is the Carnival restaurant. This is where you go if you have a traditional dining time. So you can either choose early dining at 5:15 or late dining at 7:30 p.m. And as we exit the restaurant, so these folks, I gotta say, they were my absolute favorite outfits of the entire cruise. There was a group of maybe 20 of them, and they had these vintage outfits. It was kind of like a Carnival Mardi Gras theme, just so ornate and beautiful. So I didn't get a chance to tell these folks when we were passing them. And if any of you are watching, I just want to let you know I so loved your outfits. Just amazing. Kudos to you guys. Now you can see some really nice seating in that area that we just passed. We're actually going to go to the left first and go through the fun shops of Carnival. So on the Celebration, the fun shops are not all in one place. You've got to look for them a little bit. We already passed the cherry on top earlier. Down here, this whole area is the Hip Fish collection of stores. So there is beauty and fragrance and accessories, and they're all spread throughout about 4 different rooms here. You can find little pieces of jewelry, some shirts, flip-flops, sunglasses. It's a really nice place to shop and browse. There are more shops on the Carnival Celebration than you'll find on any other Carnival ship. I know some folks aren't into the shopping as much, but I've also heard people say that they don't have a chance to go shopping because they're so busy with their work life and their family and their kids. They don't have a chance to go shopping for these nicer types of items. And so when they come on a cruise ship, it's a great opportunity for them to go and check out some of this more high-end stuff, get a little bit of something extra for themselves while they're on their cruise. So what about you? Do you like to go shopping on the cruise ship? Do you think about, oh, I'm going to pick out some special item while I'm there? Or do you just avoid that altogether and just hope you don't run out of sunscreen and have to come down and buy it at twice the regular price? All right, so we're about to enter the gateway, and this is an area where they have a lot of the specialty restaurants. As we go in, you can see here's another formal night shot on this crystal staircase. Such a great spot for a photo op. Of course, you can have one of Carnival Cruise Line's photographers take a photo of you, but you can also just do it yourself. Pull out your cell phone, snap a picture on the staircase. It's a classic place to pose, and it comes out really good, very photogenic. All right, first up as we enter the gateway is the Latitudes Bar. So this is a pretty nice bar serving drinks from all around the world. On the menu, they actually show you where each drink is from on the globe, so I think that's a cool little touch. The bartenders are dressed like flight attendants. This was a really popular place for people to grab a drink in the evening as they were going to and from their dining of the night. Now, if you look up on the ceiling and on the walls, you can see it looks like stained glass up there. It's so beautiful, right? Well, it's not really stained glass, it's actually LED screens, and they change. It made it even cooler. We sat there and watched them change for a few minutes. A really fun experience. Now, this is Emeril's Bistro, 1397. Of course, the famous Emeril Lagasse is the chief culinary officer on Carnival cruise ships. The main menu is all Creole-styled dishes. Emeril got his fame with his New Orleans-style cooking. There's also a Taste the World special menu, which is a rotating menu that features a different area of the world every night. So if you're cruising on the Carnival Celebration, definitely check that out. You can't try that on other ships, so it's something very unique to the Carnival Celebration. Now you can also come here for breakfast. For $6, you can get different breakfast dishes like shrimp and grits or sweet potato waffles. And any time of the day, you can come down here and get beignets, which we tried and they were amazing. All right, now this is the Carnival Kitchen. So this is another venue that is unique to the Excel class ships, and you can come down here and learn how to make some of the classic dishes that you have in main dining on the Carnival Celebration. You need to call in to book it. I'm honestly not sure how much it costs, but I did see several different groups doing this during our cruise, and it looks like so much fun. I would love to try that out sometime. This is the Festival restaurant. This is the other main dining room on the Carnival Celebration, and you might be assigned a table here if you select early or late dining rather than going to the Carnival restaurant, but this is also the main dining restaurant for those that select anytime dining, which is what Joe and I always do. We actually only ate here once, and we didn't really have a great time. So I don't want to get too much into that. I want to focus on the ship tour, but definitely go and check out our review of the Carnival Celebration and we'll give you all the details. Just a quick rundown. Honestly, I didn't care for that red overtone of the lights that they used. We got really lucky. We got a table at the very aft, and so it was just before sunset, so we were able to look out the window and had a beautiful view, so that was nice. About midway through our meal, they started doing the dinner show and the lights started actually flashing and the strobe light effect, and it seriously made me nauseous. I had to stop eating until it was over. So it was not that great of an experience, unfortunately. Now, a little bit of camera magic, and that's brought us back to the front of the ship. We're still on deck 6, but we are gonna go check out the spa and the fitness center. This is the spa entrance, and if you want to get a treatment, you want to go down to the spa, you need to check in with these folks first. You can see back there in the corner, they're actually doing a little demonstration talking about the different services that the spa offers. But the main part of the spa, you need to either go down that staircase or go down the elevator, and you get into the thermal suite area. So that's where they have some really nice hot tubs, mineral baths that you can soak in, some showers, some saunas, just the whole works. We weren't able to film down there because there were people using the spa and we didn't want to intrude on their privacy. If you get a chance, that is a really great place to relax on the Carnival Celebration. Now going across the hallway, this is the fitness center, and this was a super nice fitness center. I was a little skeptical at first because it wasn't on one of the top decks and I thought it might be dark and you wouldn't get a view, but they actually do have an area you can look out the ship, watch the waves go by. In the back here, they've got some big rooms for fitness classes, spin classes, and aerobics classes. You can sign up for those at the front desk of the spa, and I think they're $30 a piece, or you can buy a class pack, like 3 for $90. But if these rooms aren't being used, you are welcome to go in and use them yourself to, practice some dance moves there. In the main part of the fitness center, you have a lot of options for aerobic equipment, Stairmasters and treadmills and rowing machines. And off to the left, you can see all different types of weightlifting machines and an area for lifting weights. So I really thought this fitness center was well laid out. A lot of other cruise ships I've been on, there's not a lot of room to be doing something like stretching off of the machines. And in this fitness center, there's room to spread out. There's room to do your own stretching routine, to have some space to do what you need to do for your body. So I think that's really great. And of course, the equipment here is all top-notch. All right, so we're gonna head up to deck 7 now, and we are back at the aft of the ship outside of the Festival restaurant again. And you know what? Why not? Let's take another peek inside and see what it looks like on the upper level of the Festival restaurant. Right now it is tea time, so in case you didn't know, on sea days on Carnival ships, you can go to tea time between 3 and 4 o'clock. You do want to show up earlier. We thought it was like any time between 3 and 4, but honestly, if you show up at 3:45, you're probably not going to get much. Of course, they serve tea. Now, it's just Lipton tea. They give you hot water and some tea bags, but you also get scones and little tea sandwiches. So the time we went, they had sandwiches with salmon on them and little pieces of strawberry shortcake. Unfortunately, we did not know that you should show up right at 3. We showed up a little bit later and we hardly got any of the sandwiches, so that was disappointing. If you go, make sure you get there early. Now, right outside the Festival restaurant is the art gallery. This is more of an art office because a lot of the art pieces are spread throughout the ship that you'll see as we go along. So if you are interested in buying something, you can go to the art gallery office here. They would be happy to help you out. Across from that, you're going to find Farenheit 555 Steakhouse. So of course, this is one of the specialty dining restaurants on board. It is $52 cover charge for adults and only $15 for kids. So if you want to eat here as a family, but your kids don't eat as much, don't worry, they're not going to get charged as much either. The cover charge does only include one entree. If you want to order extra entrees or specialty entrees like the lobster tail, that does cost extra. And there is a really nice wine selection here. So if you're interested in just ordering a glass of one of those wine vintages, you can actually just go to the bar and do that right here. You don't have to have a reservation and go inside to get some of the wine. But if you want to eat, of course, you do need a reservation. Continuing down the hallway, we're entering into the Alchemy Bar area. And you know how I can tell? Because they have the chemical symbol for alcohol in the carpet on the floor. How cool is that? I love that. I absolutely love that. I made Joe stop and film that because I just think it's so cool. I guess I'm a little bit of a nerd. Now you can look over the side here and look at those windows now. They're not stained glass anymore. It's showing a beautiful sunset view, right? Well, no, it's actually just an LED screen again. And here is the Alchemy Bar. The folks here were just so friendly. Everybody waved and said hi. The bartender was great. I love that they use fresh herbs. You can just see them right on the counter there, that they use fresh herbs in the cocktails. The Alchemy Bar is one of the highlights of Carnival cruise ships, and I think this one was run really well. I always saw folks ordering drinks and just having a really great time relaxing. And like I said, everybody was so friendly. Now, right next to the Alchemy Bar is the Limelight Lounge. So this is the second comedy club. Like I mentioned, there's 2 on board the Carnival Celebration. This is where they had more of the family-friendly shows, and they also did karaoke, but in the evening, it did become a nightclub. It was a disco club for 21 and older only. They did check at the door. They didn't card me for some reason. I guess I look like I'm more than 20 years old at this point. Now moving on down, we are on deck 7, and you can see there are some of the art from the art gallery on display, and also here are some more fun shops. So this is the watch store, ubiquitous on every single cruise ship you've ever been on. You're gonna find a lot of watches. I mean, do they think that people that go on cruises are late all the time? Is that why they always have watches? I don't know. And then of course this is Portside Liquor and Tobacco, the duty-free store on board. They have a wide selection of alcohol, but if you do want to buy some of that alcohol, you cannot take it back to your stateroom. You're going to have to check it, and they'll give it to you at the end of your cruise. Right next door, we have one more shop. This is the Sun and Fun shop. They've got backpacks and hats and t-shirts and just a lot of fun apparel type items. Now we're gonna go and check out the view for the center stage on deck 7, so that you can see there's some seats here. This is a nice spot to sit because they do have, like I mentioned, aerial acts, and they're gonna be floating right in front of you if you're on deck 7 here. So that is really cool. They've got the sound booth taking up the center area, but then there's more seating on the side here. Now, as we turn around here, this is the Aquaria Bar, and you're gonna see some more memorabilia from old Carnival ships. So those glass murals actually came off the Carnival Victoria. The ship got a huge makeover and it got renamed to the Carnival Radiance. It's still sailing, but they took these glass murals off of that ship and they decided to install them on the Carnival Celebration. I think they're so cool. The light behind them changes color, so it makes the mural change color, and it just was fascinating to watch. Now, the one other thing that's on deck 7 is the casino, and this takes up pretty much the entire midship area of deck 7. The casino is huge on the Celebration. They have this whole room with the buffalo slots. I just found out that's one of the most popular types of slots. They have all sorts of machines, and it did get a little bit crowded at times, so if you are a fan of going to the casino, it's going to be a happening place for sure. But I have to say, I like the design because the way they have it laid out, you can get by on deck 7 without going into the casino. You can scoot by on that center stage area. The one exception is there is no way to get all the way to the front of the ship where the theater is. So if you want to enter the theater on deck 7, then you do have to go through the casino just a little bit. Moving on up to deck 8, we are here at the front of the ship outside of the Havana stateroom and suites area. So on Carnival's larger ships, the Excel class and the Vista class, they offer a special area, kind of a ship within a ship feature called the Havana staterooms, and we'll see a little bit more of that later on. But first, let's check out Chabang. Chabang is one of 2 of the alternative main dining rooms on the Carnival Celebration, and you can eat here for no extra charge one time. If you want to eat here again, it's an extra $8 per person. Chabang is a fusion restaurant. It combines Mexican and Chinese cuisine. I was hoping that maybe that would mean I could try a taco egg roll. but in fact, it's just two different menus, a Mexican menu and a Chinese menu. You can order off of either one of those menus. The food here was pretty good, and the staff was very attentive. It was a very crowded and loud restaurant, so it's great for kind of a party atmosphere, very happening area. On the other side of the ship, we have the Havana Bar. Now, this is not exclusive to Havana stateroom members. Anyone can come to this bar, but from this bar, there is access to the special Havana sun deck, which you'll see here. You do need a wristband in order to get out there. The crew does police this, so if you don't have a wristband, you will be asked to leave the area. Out on that deck, there's a lot of loungers, and there's one pretty small pool, actually. It's just kind of enough to dip your toes into. Honestly, I was a little underwhelmed by that area, and I don't know if I'd be willing to pay extra money just to have a Havana stateroom on the Celebration. Now here you can see the Dream Studio. So this is where if you want to schedule a professional photographer session, you can come here. This bridge overlooks the Aquaria Bar. So we saw that earlier down on deck 7. This is an overhead view. Aren't those murals cool? Just so stunning. And on the other side, of course, you can see the center stage. They're setting up for a show. This is the top deck of the atrium area, and it was a nice place just to stop and watch the show. Now here is Bonsai Teppanyaki. This is available for both lunch and dinner. We're in between the two right now, so nothing's going on. They just have it all set up and ready to go. The chefs here put on a really nice show. They tell a lot of jokes and do some stunts with the food, so it is a really fun time. I caught a little bit of it earlier, and they have special rice there. It doesn't come from Japan. It comes from Japan. Okay, it wasn't that funny. Right beside Bonsai Teppanyaki, there is Bonsai Sushi. I don't know if we got out there during the tour, but in the very back corner of Bonsai Sushi, there's actually a door that leads out and you can eat outside on this special little sun deck that's only accessible through Bonsai Sushi. So if it's nice on your cruise, I would definitely recommend doing that. Unfortunately, on our cruise, it was actually a little chilly almost the entire time. Now this is, I think, the last of the fun shops that we are going to check out. This one has watches and sunglasses and jewelry, and it's all a little bit higher end than the stuff that we saw earlier. You can see there's a lot of salesmen in here ready to help you out, ready to help you make the best selection for whatever item you want. And now we come to the Pixels photo gallery. This is a really big part of the celebration, and I know a lot of folks love to get their pictures taken. You can come here and use the little iPads that they have to look up what photos were taken of you around the ship. When the photographer takes a picture, they ask for your room number, so they key that to your account. You can easily find which pictures you're in. Now here's another tip. If you didn't know, once you reach gold level on Carnival, you can come to the Pixels Gallery and get a special commemorative pin. When you are in the gold status, all the pins you get, no matter what ship you're on, they're all going to be the same. But once you reach diamond status, every ship you go on has a different pin that you can get, so it's a little bit of a collector's item. That's kind of a fun piece of memorabilia you can get. You just have to remember to stop by the Pixels Gallery before the second to last day of your cruise. We are entering the 820 Biscayne area, and this is themed after Miami because Miami is the home port of the Carnival Celebration. Just inside this area, you'll find Cucina del Capitano. This is the second of the alternative main dining rooms that they have. So again, you can eat here for free one time, and then if you want to eat here again, it's going to be $8 per person. We really loved the Cucina del Capitano. It was easily one of the best meals we've ever had on a cruise ship. Highly recommend it. Here's one thing that you might not realize. So Cucina del Capitano, it's a restaurant that you find on several Carnival ships, but each one has at least one special dish. They call it Il Capitano's signature dish. I guess the captain of the ship gets to decide this. Most of these captains are from Italy. I don't know why that is, but regardless, these captains have a signature dish. A lot of times it's, something they remember their grandmother making for them. And on the Carnival Celebration, that dish is a rigatoni with bolognese ragu and ham and eggplant. Right across from Cucina del Capitano is Bar 820, and there's a nice seating area off to one side, and then there's more seats around the bar. This passageway here got really busy, so you definitely need to look both ways before you cross the street there. The one cool thing I liked about this bar is that it went outside, so that there's a bar on the outside, which when we go around the promenade, you'll see that. So it's an indoor-outdoor bar, which is a kind of a cool idea. Next up, we have Miami Slice here. So if you are familiar with Pizzeria del Capitano or Pizza Pirate, it's the same thing, but they combine the ingredients a little bit differently at the Miami Slice to give you something that seems more Miami themed. You can get La Habana, which is ham and chorizo sausage, or you can get the picadillo, which is ground beef with some special seasoning on it. I think that's a really fun touch to have some of these Miami-inspired dishes. Here we come to the Deco Deli. So this is another Miami-themed venue. It's very similar to the regular deli on other Carnival ships. Again, they have some special Miami-themed sandwiches you can get here. They have the Cubano sandwich, the croqueta sandwich, the pan con lechon, and they have the bocadillo salumeria, which I'm probably saying incorrectly. I'm sure somebody's going to leave a comment and let me know how I should have pronounced that. I'm just going to pronounce it yum, because they were all really good. I really love those flamingos that were just hanging out there. Kind of a comical touch. Here we come to Rudi's Seagrill. So this is a specialty restaurant. It's similar to Farenheit 555. It costs $52 per person as a cover charge. But this one, of course, focuses on seafood. So if you want some fish or some lobster or some crab, this is the place to come. I really like the decor in here. Those glass fish that are on the wall, the color scheme, the way the plates are decorated, everything just is very refined. We did not eat here. It was a little bit out of our price range in terms of trying all the specialty restaurants on board, but maybe someday we'll get a chance to come here. The Rudi's Seagrill is only found on Excel class ships, so that would be the Carnival Celebration, the Mardi Gras, and the Carnival Jubilee. So this is Carnival Adventures. This is the shore excursion area. You can use these iPads to book a shore excursion, or of course you can ask for help when the desk here is staffed. You can also get accessories for your shore excursion. So they sell water bottles and bags, and they also sell snorkels and GoPros. So that's a great place to go if you are looking to do something when you're in port. So right here, as we leave the Carnival Adventure Store, across the way, you see there are 4 more iPads built into the wall there. If you need to print something out, you can actually use those iPads. You want to go to guest services first, and of course you have to wait in line, but the line's not that bad. It actually moves pretty quickly. Go up and tell somebody at the front desk, then they will do something to the printer on their end, and then you can go log on to those iPads. You have to have a Wi-Fi package in order to do that, so you can log on to whatever account you need to, but then you can get something printed at guest services. Now here is Summer Landing, and one of the big venues is the Pig and Anchor Bar, but first we're going to go into the Carnival Store. This is where you can get all of your themed merchandise for Carnival. There are mugs and water bottles and shirts and towels and even fun ship floating speakers. So we got a kick out of this because we just did a story before we came on the ship about how Carnival had banned personal speakers. You can't bring a Bluetooth speaker onto Carnival ships anymore. And we knew that in the past, you've been able to buy a Bluetooth speaker in the Carnival store. So we were kind of wondering, hey, did they pull those off the shelves? And no, in fact, they did not. You can still buy those. So what I want to know is, are the Bluetooth speakers now like the alcohol? Do you have to check those in with security and then pick them up at the end of your cruise? It's probably kind of silly for them to confiscate it until the end of your cruise, right? If you want to get back to your stateroom, you want to get to an elevator, come down this secret hallway. It's just across from the Carnival store, and it's a great way to avoid all the crowds of people waiting in front of guest services. And right here you can see this is where they actually brew beer for the Pig and Anchor bar. So it's actually made on the ship. I don't know if all of it is made on the ship, but at least some of it is made on the ship. So the official name of this venue is the Pig and Anchor Smokehouse and Brewhouse. And this was the longest bar, certainly, on the ship. You can see it stretches quite a ways. There were always people sitting on it. It was always pretty busy, which I found interesting because for some reason they did not use the rest of this area as much as I've seen on the Mardi Gras. But the bar was always very crowded. And they didn't have as many people working the bar as I would have expected. Behind the bar here, you can see that there is a beverage station. And so in case you didn't know, on the Carnival Celebration, you have self-service soda dispensers. If you have bottomless bubbles, you can come up here and scan your card and pour whatever soda you want for, I think it's like maybe 20, 30 seconds. And then it cuts off. You have to wait 5 minutes before you can come back and get more soda. This is where they have a second breakfast buffet in the morning. It has all the same things as you find on the Lido deck. It's just that there's only one buffet line to go through. It's not as crowded. I personally preferred coming down here for breakfast. And here's what I mean by this area wasn't very well utilized. They had a stage there with a drum set, but they never had live music down here. I actually went back and checked my Carnival Hub app to see if they ever had music playing down there, and they didn't. You can see there are a lot of tables and chairs here, and that's because you can actually come and eat dinner at the Pig and Anchor Smokehouse. If you've ever had the barbecue lunch, dinner has most of the same items. There are a few additional items, so I just gotta say, you gotta try the Mississippi mud pie. We get more into that in our review, so do make sure you check that out if you want to know our favorite spots to eat on the Carnival Celebration. We're going to take a closer look at this venue. This is the Heroes Tribute Bar. So this is for all those veterans. And I love that Carnival makes it a point to honor them. They always have a special ceremony for veterans on every single cruise. Hidden here in this army truck is a Swirls ice cream station. I thought that was kind of fun that they had an extra Swirls location on deck 8. You didn't have to go all the way up to the Lido deck. You can see there is some pretty comfortable seating and several large screen TVs. They're always playing sports matches on those TVs. All right, moving outside, this area is called the patio. We really loved this pool. It was generally a little bit more calm than the pool on the Lido deck, not as many people using it. And they have these loungers. You can actually move them anywhere in that shallow area of the pool. Really relaxing place to sit. Unfortunately, on our cruise, it was a little bit cooler. Joe and I have a little bit higher cold tolerance than other people because we're from Minnesota, don't you know? So we went swimming, which was nice because there weren't as many people in the pool. Coming around the corner here, this is where they serve the Pig and Anchor barbecue for lunch. It is an outdoor area with a buffet line, and you just ask for what you want. They have all the different barbecue meats. It's pretty good. My one complaint, honestly, is just that they only serve it from noon till 2:30. I wish that it went a little bit later. Take another look at this pool area. The chairs back here were pretty comfortable too. Around the corner, they have 2 hot tubs. These hot tubs were always just packed. And maybe that's because it was a little bit colder on our cruise, but my goodness, I could not believe how many people they fit into those hot tubs. And here you can see nearby is the watering hole, which was closed a lot of the time. I guess if you wanted a drink, you could go inside to the Pig and Anchor bar. Now, we had a balcony room that was on this side of the ship, so we could see down into the hot tub, and I thought this would give me a secret advantage. I could look down, I could see when the hot tub was empty, and we could rush down there and get a little bit of hot tub time on our cruise. But you know what? It was always full. It was always full. And so that wasn't an advantage. And in fact, that balcony room ended up being a little bit of a disadvantage because you would not believe what happened while we were sitting there. So we were just above this area where they had the cornhole toss, and the people on the ship really got into their cornhole toss games. And, well, I'm going to link the video, but you should see what happened because it was crazy and kind of funny, too. Now coming down here, this is the outside area right outside Miami Slice. And you see how they have the chairs painted in the pink, the yellow, and the green pastel colors. It really gives a Miami vibe to it. I love that. I love that touch. And now this is the outdoor area of the Bar 820. I mentioned before that that bar was an indoor-outdoor bar. And here you go. You can see that they've got the door for the bartenders to go through to get to whatever they need on the inside. And then this area, this is all for smokers. It's actually quite a big smoking area. I think that's nice of Carnival. There's always a complaint that they don't have enough areas for smokers. And this whole section, plenty of room. And it was not in the way of anybody else. And at the very end, on the left here, you can see those windows go into the center stage area, and far ahead, that little blue spot you see there, that is the pool for the Havana Bar. And now we're gonna move on up to deck 16. This is the Lido deck. We're gonna start at the aft at the Tide Pool and Big Chicken. So we were so excited to finally get to try Big Chicken. This is Shaq's restaurant. You can find it on the Excel class ships. You know, we've eaten at Guy's Burgers and Blue Iguana so many times, and we were super excited to have somewhere different to try on the Carnival ships. And I'll tell you what, some of the stuff they had here was really good, and some of it was really terrible. So once again, check out our review of the Carnival Celebration. We'll fill you in on all the details there. The one thing I will say is that Big Chicken has a lot of sauce. So this pool was pretty nice. It was a popular one for families. And you know, sometimes it's annoying because kids get the reputation of just running around crazy on a cruise ship, but the kids back here were pretty respectful. It was cold enough that even the kids didn't really want to get in the pool for too long of time, and so they were using these hot tubs, which were ginormous hot tubs, but they weren't being too obnoxious about it. So I really appreciated that. You can see so many people are wearing jackets and hoodies. So we were in the Caribbean. It was January, but the temperatures were in, like 75, just maybe brushing 80. I feel a little bit bad about complaining about the weather because back home, my parents were dealing with, negative 10 degrees. But hey, I was on a Caribbean cruise. I was expecting some heat. Now this is the Tide Pool Bar, so this is where you can grab a drink if you are at the back of the ship. They've got a frozen drink machine there, so you can get a strawberry daiquiri or what have you. And this area here, this is where we usually sat to eat breakfast because it was just outside of the buffet, not quite as crowded. So this is the buffet area. You can see it's quite a big area. So the way it works, they have a buffet station set up on either end, and they've got basically 4 lines that you can go through. They all serve the same thing, so just 4 lines of the same entrees and side dishes. And then they have this center section. On the right side, that's where they put the salad bar and the bread. And then on the left side, they have 3 service windows. The middle one here, this is my favorite. It is the gelato. They only have gelato from noon until 2:30. You should definitely make it a point to get up here and get some because it is so good. On either side of the gelato, they have a hot dog window on one side and a shawarma window on the other side. I didn't try a hot dog, but the shawarmas were really good. So just a gyro with some meat and the toppings on them and the tzatziki sauce. That was really a treat for me. I love shawarmas. And now here we are moving towards the main pool area. Right outside of the main pool is the Red Frog Tiki Bar. So this is always a very popular place on Carnival cruises. And, you know, everybody loves to say hi to the camera, which I think is amazing. Now over here, this is the towel hut. You do get fresh towels in your stateroom, but if you want to exchange them before your room attendant has a chance to clean your room, you can stop by the towel hut and get fresh towels. Now we'll walk down this outside area here, and we'll get to my very favorite venue on board. This is Street Eats, and there are 3 different stands here. The first one, this is stir fry or kebabs. The second one is steamed things, so on this day they had pot stickers. And the third one is fries. They had just loaded fries. They would have a different type of fry every day, so like crinkle cut or sweet potato or waffle fries, and then they'd put different toppings on them. And it was just really cool the way they combined the flavors. We really enjoyed this area, and the best part is that it was open until 5 o'clock. A lot of the places on Carnival Cruise have more limited hours, so it was really nice to know that Street Eats, it was open from 11 until 5 every day. Now we'll take a quick glance at the main pool here. This hot tub was basically the kids' swimming pool because I never saw any adults in there. The adults would be watching and keeping an eye on the kids, but that was always just full of kids. Then across the way, this is Blue Iguana, so they have already closed for the day. I believe it was about 4:30 when we were filming this. Blue Iguana is a great place to go. If you want a burrito, they have the toppings bar. You can get all the fixings. You can get your burrito or your taco exactly the way you like it. It's really nice. And now here is an overview of that main pool. A couple of kids in there braving the cold. You know, when you're a kid, it just doesn't bother you quite as much. So it's great that they were still able to enjoy it and make the most of their vacation. Now, we're going to make our way up to deck 17, but I just want to point out right here, this Red Frog Tiki Bar, you can see now that we're standing back, it's actually 2 levels. So we're going to see that Tiki Bar again as we go up to the 2nd level, deck 17. I'll meet you up there. And here we are on deck 17. You can see there are a ton of sun loungers up here. So deck 17 is called the Upper Lido, and there are a few venues up here that we'll see, but the main thing you find is lots of seating. One of the popular things to complain about on a cruise is chair hogs. For the most part, on the Carnival Celebration, there is more than enough seating to go around. Now, the one exception are these canopy beds here. Those definitely were taken by the chair hogs. I would see people come out here super early in the morning, put their stuff down, and claim that as their own, and they would not leave until the sun went down. So if you want one of those canopy beds, you're gonna have to be fast, you're gonna have to be clever in order to get one of those. So this is level 2 of the Red Frog Tiki Bar, as promised. This was a very popular place. It was a bit windy today, and you know, the higher up you go on the ship, the more that wind is going to affect you. So it wasn't as crowded as I've seen it on other times, but a lot of times it's hard to just get in to get the bartender's attention because there are so many people around this bar. It's a great place to overlook the pool, to see what's going on. Very lively atmosphere up here. Even when it's windy, it's a lively atmosphere. I like this cabinet here. It displayed a lot of the souvenir glasses that you can get at the Red Frog Tiki Bar, so that's kind of fun to see. Now we're going to start heading towards the aft of the ship. But first, of course, we have to stop and get some ice cream. This is my tradition on the ship tours. And I've noticed that a lot of people can make really good ice cream cones. They just swirl perfectly up and make a nice little cone there. So I decided I'm going to see how good I can do. Let's see. Starts off pretty good, but then I didn't quite turn off the machine enough and it overpowered and the whole thing fell over. So I ended up with a sad little quarter of an ice cream cone. But you know what? It still tasted good. One of these days, I'm going to learn the trick to the ice cream machine. And a little further along down here, we have Guy's Burgers. So this is one of the venues that's actually been moved on the Carnival Celebration. Usually you can find this right next to the main pool, but on the Celebration, it is on deck 17, the upper Lido. And that allows Carnival to have this area even bigger than normal. So there is more than enough room for you to grab your toppings at the toppings bar here. And this line area looks really intimidating. There's room for 3 lines to snake back and forth. But in reality, I never really saw the line going all the way back to the end. Take a look at some of those delicious Guy's Burgers. I love the way that you can customize your burger just the way you want it at Guy's. And I love all the toppings. My favorite, I think, has to be the caramelized onions. What's yours? Well, I'm just finishing up my ice cream cone there while Joe was doing all the hard work of videoing. We're going to continue on. This area on our left and the inside, that is Club O2. That is for the teenagers on board, ages 15 to 17. And you're going to see coming up here, they have a really nice outdoor area with some cool chairs, some tables, some couches. Never ever saw any teenagers hanging out in that area. So I think they should have opened it up for the adults because I totally would have hung out there. Now they did have, of course, some nice chairs for everyone to use. I love that they have these couches back here. They're really quite comfortable, and they overlook the tide pool and the aft view of the ship, so it was a really pleasant place to sit out here. I did spend quite a bit of time relaxing on these couches. As we go around the corner on the starboard side, this area gives way to another smoking section. This one is a little bit more obtrusive because a lot of people do pass by here and you're gonna smell cigarette smoke, but it's not that bad and the breeze honestly blows most of the smoke away. So again, it's a nice large area for smokers to come out and hang out. And the rest of this area is just taken over by tons of sun loungers, like I said, so we'll speed past this. And now we're in the area overlooking the main pool again, and there are 3 more of those canopy beds on this side. So in total, there's 6 of those canopy beds, which is not much to go around a group of 6,000 cruisers. That's 1 for every 1,000 people. Yeah, that's why they're so hard to get. All right, going inside to the elevator area. On deck 17, this is also how you access Circle C. That's for the tweens on board, ages 12 to 14. And on the other side, we have the warehouse, the arcade. So this was a really fun area, and also I've got to say, a really expensive area. The way it works is you use your key card to buy credits to use the machine. Now, the credits, it's not like 1 credit is a quarter or $1. I could not figure out what it was, and some of the machines costed a fraction of a credit, so like 7.17 credits. I don't know what that was all about. It was very hard to figure out how much it actually cost to play any of these games, so I think it would be really easy for even an adult that's paying attention to the money to go overboard. Say nothing about the kids. Here's a tip for you parents out there: set a limit on your kids' cards before you turn them loose in the arcade. Otherwise, you might be surprised by the bill at the end of the day. Now, as we come out, you'll notice there's no way to go up on the staircases to the next level, and the elevators take forever, so what should we do? Blam! Some camera magic there. Now we're on deck 18, right outside the ultimate playground and the mini golf course. I love the mini golf courses on Carnival cruise ships. They're so creative. You know, of course, the rocking of the ships just adds to the challenge. The mini golf is free. It's first come, first serve. The clubs are color-coded. I think it's the purple ones that are the longest. I can't remember for sure, but check out those different colored handles and find the one that's the right length for you. Now, on the Carnival Celebration, there are 3 water slides to choose from. And in the interest of science, I did try every single one. So I'm here to tell you they were all really fun and exhilarating. The yellow twister is probably the most tame of them. To ride the Blue Lightning, you need to remember to grab a mat and take that up with you to the top because you slide down going head first on the mat. And then the scariest one is the Orange Thunder. So that is a drop slide. You get into the little compartment and all of a sudden the floor drops out from underneath you and you're just plunged down the slide. It's really fast, but also a lot of fun. Right next to the water slide, you have the entrance to the Bolt Rollercoaster. So this is something you only find on Excel class ships. I remember this roller coaster coming out back in 2020, and the celebrity that endorsed the roller coaster was Shaq O'Neal, who is famously known for being super tall. Well, here's the funny thing. Shaq is actually too tall to ride this roller coaster. There is a weight limit and a height limit for the roller coaster, and Shaq exceeds that. I thought that was kind of funny. Along here, you have a bunch of clamshell loungers. These were always full. This was a super comfortable area to lounge out in the sun, and at this time of day, you got just direct sunlight right there, so very relaxing and warm. Up ahead, you can see the ropes course. Now today, it was so windy they actually did have to close it. So there is a warning for you. If you want to try the ropes course, take advantage when you see it is open because it could be too windy or too rough of seas later on in your voyage and they might close it and you would miss your chance. So check that out on the first couple of days if you're really intent on trying the ropes course. And I would recommend trying it. It was super fun. The basketball court was always a popular place, lots of kids and adults trying that out. And then right next to it, you know, I told you they love cornhole toss on this ship. Here's 2 more playing courts for cornhole toss as well as a ping pong table in the background. You can see here there is a running track with directional arrows showing you which way to go. This track is 1/7 of a mile long. Now that staircase on the left is how you get up to the ropes course. And as you see the camera pointing up to some of the components of the ropes course, on this section, the ropes course splits into 2 paths, and you can choose the one on the inside is just, a typical obstacle course. The one on the right, on the outside, that's actually a zip line. It was so fun. You had to leap off that yellow board, and then you were zipped along to the other side. It wasn't a very long zip line, but going out over the ocean like that and you had to actually walk yourself off took a little bit of guts. I did it though, twice. Now here you see the WaterWorks area. That orange slide, that is the orange drop slide, and then the yellow twister. This area here with all of the water cannons and the water spouts, it's perfect for kids. They have their own little set of tiny racing slides there. I didn't try those out. I think I was too big for those. And now we're going to jump to the front of the ship to Serenity, the adults only section on board. You do need to be 21 or older in order to come in here. This Serenity is actually the largest you'll find on any of the Carnival cruise ships. It covers a huge area in the forward section of the ship. There are tons of loungers. They all have these padded covers to them, which is really nice. If you get a towel at Serenity, you get these special yellow towels. They're a little bit nicer than the standard blue ones. You can see they have the beds up here. They're not like the canopied beds that you find around the main pool, but they're still really comfortable, and it's great if you want to hang out with your partner. They're big enough for 2 people. Now, they did have music playing sometimes up here on Serenity. It was kind of quiet and in the background, but on other ships I've been on, Serenity has been strictly no music, which I really appreciated, that it was a place for you to come and relax and enjoy the peace and quiet and serenity of just the ocean. Now this inner area of Serenity is pretty cool. They actually have a pool here. This is the only Serenity I've ever been in that has a pool. The other ones all have hot tubs, but this one actually has a regular pool as well. Unfortunately, the overall design of the pool was not very good because it was underneath these sunshades, never got any direct sunlight, and it was so cold all the time. I swear I think it was maybe like 34 degrees. Okay, that's maybe a small exaggeration. But nobody ever wanted to get in that pool, and that's too bad because it was really a decent sized pool. Right next to the pool they have this sunken area where you can just chill and hang out. You can see above the Serenity Bar, that pool is for Loft 19. That's the exclusive area on board the Carnival Celebration. We'll see a little bit more of that in a bit, but I just want you to remember that pool. Everyone in Serenity can see you when you're in that pool. So when you're up there, it seems like it's nice and secluded, but if you're trying to get a little romantic or whatever in the pool, all I'm gonna say is people down below in Serenity can see everything. I'll just leave it at that. So you can see there are a lot of open sun loungers in Serenity today. Like I mentioned, it was a bit windy, a lot of folks were staying inside, but even when it got really nice and sunny, there were always a few places open on the Serenity deck. I really think Carnival did a great job figuring out the ideal number of sun loungers for the Carnival Celebration based on its capacity. This is the entrance to Loft 19. You can rent a cabana for the day. Now the cabanas, in case you're wondering, they are $599 per day for a sea day. On port days, they are half price, so it's $295 per day. And that is on a first come, first served basis. So I believe there's 12 cabanas in total. I don't think it was ever fully booked. So if you're worried about it selling out, I mean, I can't promise that's not going to happen, but it certainly didn't come close on our sailing. Now, if you book an Excel class suite, you do get complimentary access to Loft 19, but you don't get a complimentary cabana. You just get the ability to go into this area. If you want a cabana, that is going to cost you extra. Although honestly, if you're booking an Excel class suite, that's like the most expensive suite on the Celebration, so maybe you're not too worried about a few extra bucks going towards the cabana. I really love this display of towel animals. I always get a kick out of the towel animals that our room attendant leaves us. Now this is one of 2 hot tubs in the Serenity area. There's a nice little alcove back here where you can stash your stuff or just sit if you don't want to be in the hot tub for a little while. The hot tub itself was always very crowded. I think right now there's 6 people in it, and that's probably the least crowded I've ever seen it. There is another hot tub on the other side of Serenity, so 2 in total, but like I said, those were very packed. Along here we have some more sun loungers. This is technically outside of Serenity, so it is available for families, people of any age. You don't have to be over 21 to use these sun loungers. And then straight ahead there's more sun loungers and then a few chairs along the back row. And this is a great place to watch the dive-in movies that they have going on the movie theater every evening. And if you do want to watch the movie, here's a little tip for you. You can get some popcorn down at the Red Frog Bar. So it does cost extra, unfortunately, but you know, what is a movie without popcorn? Well, thank you for joining us on our tour of the Carnival Celebration. Are you going to be sailing on her soon? Then you'll definitely want to check out our honest review of the Celebration next. We talk about it all: the food, the activities, the decor, the service, everything from bow to stern. Until next time, remember, no matter what cruise ship you're on, no matter what destinations you sail to, adventure awaits.